Hello, if you teach pre-entry, then this book will help you cut your prep time, read and write every day. I'm the author, Dave Butler, and in this playlist, I'm going to focus on how I use this book with my students day by day. This is day 3 of the playlist. Sorry, teacher gesturing while speaking. So here we go. As with day 1 and 2, I am going to begin with the aims. Okay, and one moment. Here we go. So as I said, yeah, this is based on Unit 6 of the student's book. The topic is food. Day 3 aims. Reading. So each unit of the book has several texts. Great way for students to practice reading, obviously. Writing. Vocabulary is the first thing. I'll come to that in a moment. Reading is the main aim. Writing, I've put a question mark because if there's time, don't rush it. Okay. If there's not time, you can easily do it on day 4. Okay. So I like to begin with checking the homework. So whatever homework you gave them on day 2, get them in pairs, check together. Are your answers the same or different? You can either whiz round and check each student's work, give it a nice tick, encourage some self-correction. You could check some pages or all of the pages as a group, if you like. Obviously, letter gap fill is much easier if you just whiz round and check that and tick the page, really. But some of the tasks you can check as a group and board the answers. Okay, so vocabulary, this was mentioned in the day 2 video, and we said that if you had time, it would be a nice task to include for day 2. And so this for day 3 depends how much you did on day 2. So if you did some of it on day 2, I would start with this as revision. This is a slide, one of the PowerPoint slides that you can download from the website. So I would do it as revision, put this on the board in pairs. What can you see? Can you remember the words? For most of the tasks in this book, do everything orally before you do any kind of reading and writing. Plays to their strengths. They're usually good at speaking, and also means that when they come to do the reading and writing, they know the oral form, and then they can match it to the written form. So focus orally first. The target language here is meat, fruit, vegetables, drink. Okay, so obviously first you need to clarify the names of the food, like peas, bananas. Okay, but then you can use these pictures to clarify the vocabulary, meat, fruit, etc. Okay, so for example, you could elicit from the students which food here is meat. Somebody will probably know. If not, you tell them, oh, chicken is meat. And from these examples, they help illustrate the vocabulary. So do the same for vegetables, fruit, drink. Okay. And I would do some practice as a group. For example, you say carrots, you could use some food that's not here. You say carrots, and they have to tell you fruit, vegetable, meat, drink. And they could do a bit of that in pairs as well. Do a little bit of this orally. So as I said, do it as a speaking task, clarify the vocab. Then in the book, you've got this task, and how you do this depends on the level of your group. So if you're like in my class at the moment, quite a lot of them are not bad at all. So I would perhaps read a little bit of this aloud. I would definitely model the task, but I would let them have a go in pairs at the task. Then obviously you've got to board these all the food into the table. Okay, and if you monitor and help them, especially the weaker students, I think it would be much nicer if they can do most of this in pairs, more student centered. Okay, and then you clarify the answers in feedback. Definitely after, as we've said here, TTT is test, teach, test. So yeah, I'm just thinking, let them have a go at it and then help them. And obviously, more test. The third T there is test. Okay, so then the students I would definitely maximize this task after you've clarified and put on the board all the answers. Have them read everything aloud in pairs. That would be nice. And then also, one student could close their book and the other one could read randomly. And again, you need to model this so the students understand the task. One student could read randomly words from each column here. So if you've got, for example, chicken, one student would read the word chicken and their partner would say meat. Okay, so I think that would be quite nice. Right, so on to the reading. So as with day one reading task, the staging is the same. Think of when you're planning your lesson, what are you going to do before reading, while reading, after reading? Okay, and I'll go through that myself, but it helps focus and steer you when you're teaching. So before reading, lead in. Today we are going to talk about food in the UK. That's the topic of this text. Give them a simple question, get them in pairs chatting. So, and help them with pronunciation before that task. So I would, for this task here, what do people eat in the UK? What do people drink? Okay, and some pronunciation drills. People eat, and give them a short phrase. People eat fish and chips. Not that often, probably. People eat meat and vegetables. People eat pizza. Drill some of those as a group to help them. People drink. So they get a nice little phrase. Everyone then should be able to chat in pairs. Chat in pairs. There you go. Vocabulary. Yeah, this is a bit of vocabulary and a pre-reading task. All of this is mentioned in the text, I think, or most of it. As we've seen a lot here, use pictures. Pictures are your best friend. Here are the pictures. What can you see? Chat to your partner. They're all in the PowerPoints downloadable from easelbooks.com. This question, what can you see? Very simple. Yeah. Give feedback after the task. Okay, here's the text. So as with day one, read it aloud. Okay, so I'll just whiz through it quickly, but day one goes into more detail about this. I read it aloud first, especially if you've got a very low level, basic level group. You read it aloud first on the board if you can, and run your finger as you read. The laser pointer on PowerPoint is quite nice here. In the UK, people eat food from many countries. Okay. So I'd read all that aloud. Read aloud chorally, everyone together. Again, you run your finger under the words. And definitely paired reading, yeah? Students in pairs read it aloud. Okay. At some point, it's up to you when you do this. You can do some phonics. You say a word, you say meat. Which number? Meat. Somebody says 5 and point to the first letter. What's the sound? Mmm. Do the first initial consonant. That's the best one for the weaker learners. You can do some more advanced phonics like the digraph SH. What's the sound? SH. Shh. So constantly, every day, use these texts and elicit these elements. Really helps them build up a kind of toolkit, phonics toolkit. Go on to reading comprehension tasks. There are several. Here's a gap fill. They look at the text, they fill in the gaps. These are phrases from the text. There is a true or false, yes or no. Okay. They can do that. They can do this reading silently, but I've noticed some students still like to read everything aloud. It's up to you. You could mix it up. You could get them in pairs, read each sentence aloud and choose in pairs, yes or no. Or do it individually and after check in pairs. Mix it up a bit. Okay, so as I said, that I've gone through it in quite quickly, but that could be a full lesson what I've just gone through. If you have time, we could do writing as well. Okay, so writing, if there's time, don't rush it. It's better to cut it, do it tomorrow rather than rush it. So in the book again, it builds up kind of scaffolds towards the writing task. So you've got a gap fill here first. You've got sentence reordering. Okay, you've got a writing frame because the final writing task, and we've got a look, say, cover, write, check. So there's quite a lot here, quite a lot of build up. Here's the final writing task, write about the food from your country. So as previously, get a model on the board. My name is Mustafa. I am from Sudan. People eat asida. Words like asida, I write on the board because he's not going to know how to write asida, and that's fine. So say to, elicit these words from their country. A speaking task is good before they do this task, actually. Speak about food from your country first. Ah, yeah, people eat asida. People drink coffee. People like, okay, I mean, groups 3 or 4 is quite nice for that. You get very international groups and they share and speak about the food from their country. Get a model on the board. As we've said previously, don't allow students to copy the model and don't allow them to copy from the student's book, from the workbook. Everyone closes the book. But if you have a problem, open your book. Maybe you can't remember chicken. How do you write chicken? You can find it in this book. You can find it in your workbook, probably. Open the book, find the word chicken, remember it, then close the book. So we're not copying. Okay, but you've got a safety net there. Okay. That's a repeat. Yes, and as we said on day 2, I think, after they've written, can they self-correct it? You underline a few mistakes, or 1 or 2 spelling mistakes. You missed 1 or 2 capital letters. Underline them, they change them. Everyone uses pencils much better. Yeah. Read it aloud in pairs, some more reading practice. Look, say, cover, write, check on the paragraph. Okay. Set some homework. So homework from the workbook's a good idea. Make a video, as we said in day 1, on day 1, on day 2. Use some pages from the workbook. You could give them some more spelling words. So it could be 10 words, choose as a group, 10 words from the class. And on day 4, you can do some more practice of those words, do a little spelling test, work in pairs to write the word so it's not too scary. Make a video, as we said, share it on Teams group. You could also, if you do the writing task, have them cover the text, write it again in their workbooks, again, several times. That's good practice. There's a YouTube video up for this lesson, reading food in the UK. Okay, so that's on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called My Homework TV. You can see it just down there. Okay. I think that might be all for this lesson. That's plenty. Yeah, and as I said, if the writing, if there's no time, don't do the writing. Okay, day 4 is coming soon. I hope you enjoyed the video. Good luck with your lessons, and let me know how it goes. If you want to write a comment, let me know if you agree or disagree with the staging in the class. Okay, thank you, and bye-bye.